Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the A to B podcast, your number one source for military entrepreneurship. Today, we have a surprise special guest that you guys will get to meet in a second. But as always, we are here with my co-host, Barry Bull. What's up, Barry? How you doing?
Dude, I feel great, man. Amazing. I ate this time before I came, so.
Sweet, man. We are here in Burbank, California. This is a special podcast for us. We have none other than Drew Hernandez, a combat veteran himself. Let's go. What's going on, Drew? How you doing, brother?
You got a great voice, dude.
Didn't I tell you his voice, right? Hello, everybody.
That was amazing.
He's going to either give you the top 40 love songs or he's introducing you. You know what I'm saying?
It's different
Seriously,
in the community.
He is married, though, you guys. He's spoken for. He is married.
That's
well,
great.
I don't know, but I have a feeling like I'm going to be roasted for my accent. I'm going to be roasted for a couple other things all throughout this podcast, but it's okay because we have given Drew the green light to be as hilarious as possible. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
So
No
Drew,
pressure. No
No
pressure.
pressure.
Well, because
at
as
all.
a comedian, that's got to be like one of the things, right? Like if you, as soon as you tell someone you're a comedian, it's like, be
Yeah.
funny right now.
Yeah.
Funny.
That,
I know,
that doesn't
exactly.
that doesn't happen. That doesn't
Be
work
funny.
that way. Yeah,
And you're like,
exactly. It's
okay,
the
guys.
most awkward thing ever.
Okay, guys, but I have feelings.
It's like a girl telling you, "Show me your dick. Let me see how big it is." And
Wow.
get me excited. Get me excited. It doesn't matter if it's flaccid. Like, no, it
doesn't
Let's see
matter.
the growth, though. Let's see the potential first.
Let's see what you're working with.
Exactly.
You know?
Oh my God! I think Jesus Christ, like
Yeah.
with Barry and Drew here in the building. I don't know what we're gonna do today.
Yeah.
But anyways, we have we want to ask a couple of questions to Drew. I've been seeing this guy. I was just telling him off camera. I've been seeing him since I was like a corporal.
Yeah.
In the military, you're like one of the OG.
Dude, that was in the 80s.
Media.
You were a corporal in like
No,
1900.
this was early
Early
2009, 2009 to like 2013.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start in like social media?
I don't even
You went
remember.
back on some memories right there.
Yeah, I don't even
He
remember.
was-
My eyes rolled to the back of my head.
Because you were in memory lane right there. You remembered a couple women.
Man, I want to say 2015, dude.
2015.
Almost 10 years, yeah.
Almost
9
10
years.
Wow.
years, man. Now,
Wow.
Now we gonna get there. But my original question is, what year did you actually join the army?
2004.
You joined 2004 when shit was
Damn.
kicking off, huh?
You are old.
Yeah, thank
Damn.
you. I appreciate
I
it.
appreciate that. Like, what's his name? Damn.
I appreciate it with my
Damn.
pills. With my pills, goddamn.
Yeah, exactly.
So and what made you? Where are you originally from? Let's start with that.
New York.
New York,
New York
huh?
City. A majority of
Yeah.
almost all the videos that went viral for me in the beginning was in New York and Washington Heights.
Yeah.
Really?
Have you ever been to New Jersey?
No, God, who goes there?
Well, I'm just saying, if you wanted real pizza.
Well, it's also if you want to see garbage, you go to New York. That's where New York shit water goes through. Look
Wow.
what I'm saying.
Wow. Okay. That's a love-hate. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
So you joined the army in 2004 out of New York. What made you join the army?
Bored.
Yeah.
Really?
A commercial got me.
Really?
A commercial work. It was a commercial. I think it was a Be All You Can Be, and it was a dude
all
coming
that
back
you
from.
can
Yeah.
be.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
How the hell do you remember that commercial?
You can't forget them because it was like, listen, stop. And I joined the Marine Corps.
I think it was the longest lasting slogan. No, Be All You Can Be was like.
I don't remember.
That was a thing in the '90s. All the
It
way
was
up
huge,
until
yeah.
It was Army Strong.
And then
or
they
something like
changed. Was it? I thought they went from that to Army of One.
that. Army of One.
I don't
Was
know.
Army of One first?
I don't know.
Are you? What branch were you?
Marine Corps, yeah.
Marine?
Yeah.
You guys had the same shit. Like it just changed.
The few,
didn't
the
it?
proud.
Yeah.
That's it.
Is it
That's all
still
we
that?
do. If that, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
That's
if
awesome.
everybody could join, it wouldn't be the
Yeah.
Marines,
Yeah.
right? Why not the Marine Corps, though? You know, I think
Yeah.
that's what we want to know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a question for him.
Yeah.
So what made you choose the army besides any other branch?
You know, it's funny. The Marines was my first selection.
No.
I went to the Marines and I went to the recruiter's office, and I swear to God, this guy was high on something. Was high on
Motivation.
something. 'Cause as soon as I guess so. But I think it was a little something else.
I mean, it's New York.
This dude was under his table. I don't know what he was doing, but he was under the table doing something. I think he was cleaning something up. I don't know. But he was like, "Oh, so you want to join the Marines? Yeah, this is a man's brand." I was like, too much energy. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like his energy spooked me, and I went to the Air Forces.
And it was too mellow.
It just smelled like sanitizer, hand sanitizer. It was too clean.
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah, I'm not that much of a clean guy. Not like this is germaphobe clean.
Yeah.
And I went to the armies next, and
That's how they got you. Do you still remember your recruiter?
no,
Yeah.
no, he was a medic. though.
Not memorable.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Damn. Okay, so you joined and you went to what do they call it? They call it boot camps too in the army, right?
Nah, it was basic training when I. But yeah, it's boot camp.
It's boot camp, basic training.
Yeah.
How was your
It's all basic
experience during boot camp?
It was. I was the kid in the back. I didn't get in trouble a lot. I wasn't trying to have a hard time. I was trying to waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning was hard enough.
Yeah.
I never got used to that shit.
Well,
Yeah.
but what's it like in the Army though? Because for the Marines, you have 2 places. That's it.
Yeah.
But the Army, you have a bunch of places you could. Does it depend on your job?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like
Educate us a little bit.
Yeah, I was an MP, so I went to Fort Leonard Wood, like a dumbass. That's in Missouri, and I went during the winter, and it gets
Beautiful.
cold out there. It gets real fucking cold. But then Fort Benning, there's also Fort Benning.
There's
Fort
a couple
Bragg. What's Fort Bragg? The air assault or airborne? Are you
No, I was
Marine?
in the Marine Corps as well.
Both of you are Marines?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so I'm the
You're
only
outnumbered.
option for the Army.
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And
You're doing a terrible job at the
I think you're
Fort
the first.
Benning or like
You're the first
Bragg.
Army guy that
You're the
we've
first
had.
Army guy we
Really?
interviewed. Yeah.
Yeah,
wow,
you're
I'm sorry to
popping
hear
our
that.
Army cherry.
Sorry.
Right?
No, let me so you answered my next question. So how is it in the Army for all those people that don't know, including myself? So you go to the boot camp and then you roll right into like your school in the same place?
Sometimes my MOS was like that. It's called like AIT, like it's called an OSET training. One
Advanced infantry training or something?
Unit training, one station unit training.
Okay.
OSET we called it, and that's after basic. Once you graduate, you roll over. Same instructor, same drill sergeants.
Oh.
The same ones?
Yeah, same one.
What are the drill
crazy.
sergeants like? Were you nervous? Were you scared? Like in the Marine Corps,
Oh yeah.
on day one, they like march out, do these intense speeches, and then they just crush you.
Yeah, we had. Yeah, it was like that. We had one dude. He was drill sergeant code. He was like a big black dude like this, just stocky. But the dude can cadence his ass off. He was really good. We loved it whenever. Yeah,
home.
we loved it whenever he cadenced. But he was tough.
But they just sing, right? In the Army, because
Yeah.
like in the Marine Corps, it's like left, right, left. In
Oh,
the
yeah,
Army, it's like
yeah. I got some ugly singing.
What?
He was a drill instructor too.
Oh, were you?
Yeah,
He was a drill
What was
instructor.
let me hear. Can I hear yours?
My cadence, like,
Yeah.
what
Oh
do you-
yeah,
I
this is
mean,
gonna go
like-
viral.
Yeah,
this is gonna
I
go
don't
viral.
know, man. I don't
let's
know.
hear. Oh, really?
What do we want? You want Mar like? That's like
what do you got?
Okay, that's hiking cadence.
That's hiking cadence.
Oh, Lordy, don't you know?
Is that if you're
Whoa, whoa. That would be like hiking,
marching?
right?
Okay.
Marching would be like forward, hunch, left, right, low, right, left, low, right, left, column left,
No.
hunch. And then you're executing a column left, but then you got
yeah.
running cadence, right?
Right.
Running cadence
Yeah.
would be more like,
Double the speed.
because early one morning, around 05, the earth is gonna shake. You write something like that.
Yeah.
There'll be line in front of the sky.
Okay. All right.
Don't you worry.
Uh-huh.
I'll get out there and, you know what I'm saying? Hey,
All
dog,
right,
we'll, you know.
You see, in the Army,
Army, Navy was not for me. Marine Corps, Air Force was just too easy.
yeah.
What I needed was a little bit more. I need a life that is hardcore.
You got him started now. You got him started now. Take the mic away from this guy.
I'm sorry.
Jesus
Go ahead.
Christ.
Edit that out, Jose, whatever you need. I apologize.
Yeah, no,
But you're saying the Army wasn't like that.
no. I mean, you got your singers, you got your Whitney Houstons, but then you also got the DMX.
Whoa.
that are trying. Yeah, exactly.
R.I.P.
C-130 rolling down. It's just like, oh my god.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Okay, so obviously you did that school. What was your first duty station?
Well, at first I joined the reserves. It was a reserve contract. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It was a reserve contract. I fucking hated it.
Why?
Which was because I didn't want to be home. I wanted to, but I didn't know the difference. Like my my recruiter didn't tell me the difference. Like at first I joined to be an MP, but I wanted to be infantry, but I wanted to be infantry in the reserves. And I had a reserve recruiter. I didn't know that. I didn't know the difference. So he was like, oh, we don't got, if he would have told me you got infantry and National Guard, I would have joined that. But nobody ever gave me the option. So he was like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to carry guns. I want to carry guns all the time. Like young, stupid, I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And because I don't come from a family of military. Like I'm the first one, and I think I'm the only one. And yeah, he told me, well, you can be an MP. I was like, what the fuck is an MP? He goes, oh, you get to carry guns all day. And I didn't know what the fuck it was still. I was just like, yeah, I'll go do that. Took the exam.
But did you
passed.
know it was like 1 weekend a month?
No. No,
okay,
I
so
didn't know that was a thing.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That
no,
is crazy.
I never knew that was a thing. Like he was just trying to sign me up. He didn't really tell me anything. So I just signed up, and the minute I knew this wasn't what I wanted to do was like the first day of showing up in basic training. Because it's not like the first day you show up is you still go through in processing first, but that's not your really first day. This is where you get your uniforms and shit.
Yeah.
And then you kind of wait a week until your drill instructors pick you up and you get on that bus and they go through their speech and stuff. And it was that day. It was like rainy, ugly outside. It was cold, and I was just like, "Yeah, I fucked up. I don't want to be here no more."
Day one.
Yeah.
Day one.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, but
So-
you just do it.
So you went to the reserves and then you switched to active?
Yeah. I did a year and I fucking hated it. I was trying to get out. My CO died during that year.
Oh, damn.
He died PTing.
Oh, damn.
Crazy, right? Yeah, he was on a run. His heart just stopped.
Wow.
And it was the first time I experienced a military funeral.
That's sad, man.
Yeah, that was super sad. Super sad.
Oh my gosh. Young guy, or did he have like?
Yeah, he was young. He was middle aged. He was a captain. He was in his 30s,
late
I wanna
30s,
say.
late 30s, early 40s?
Yeah.
Was there like health issues or just?
I don't know. He PT'd every morning, so
Yeah, but you got to think about, man, like back in 2004 in the military, people ran out of what? Cigarettes, caffeine, and like a couple of other
Rip-its.
things.
Yeah.
Rip-its, and yeah, like they would PT and their hearts, man. Sometimes that shit.
There was
that
a
shit
guy I
stops.
remember hearing something similar. He was an admin guy. He worked over in the 22 area, Camp Pendleton, a gunny. You know, maybe probably a little bit older, but he same thing. Got done with PT. He was in his little like cubicle area, like changing over, and they found him. He had a heart attack and he had passed away. And I'm like, oh my
That's
gosh.
crazy.
Yeah. So that happened. Went through the funeral service and stuff like that, and I just didn't want to do that no more. And by then, I had enough knowledge of like, all right, how do I get out of here? I want to do this full time. And I did the switch over because they needed people full time at that time.
because
So it was easy
04,
to it was easy to transition. Well, it was 06 at this
when
time.
you did the change.
Yeah. So things
And
were
how
hot
was
in
that
Iraq
culture
during
shock when you first experienced like? Because what rank did you do the transition? Were you probably like an
I was a
E3, right?
PV2. Yeah, I was.
What's a
young.
PV2?
E2.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's like a private.
PFC, private first class.
Yeah, well, we call them PV2s. Then it's a private first class. And
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and how was that shock? Like going into active duty and then now.
It wasn't a shock. It wasn't a shock at all. For me, it was because it was Germany. I got sent to Germany. So when I went active, my first station was Germany. I remember everybody in my reserve units like, if you go active duty, it's going to be tough. Everybody going to be yelling at you.
Yeah, that's what I.
And all
that's
that.
what I was-
It wasn't like that at all.
It was super chill.
Everybody was chill. We were getting ready to deploy. So as soon as I went to a deploying unit. So they were in the middle of training and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but in the
and
infantry.
field. No, MP. I was an
Okay.
MP.
Yeah, he was an MP.
Yeah.
Now, that leads me into.
I couldn't change my MOS if that's what you're
got it,
referring
got
to.
Yeah, that leads me into kind of like my next question. Obviously, you started off whenever you were starting out with this whole social media stuff, and your name was a combat veteran. Now, obviously, that means that you had some deployments in there. How were those deployment experiences?
Tough. I was in Iraq. We were in Baghdad for the surge when Obama ordered the plus in numbers out there. That was my toughest deployment. Was that when we lost 4 from our unit. Hated it. It was the one deployment where I tried to kill myself. People were killing themselves in this deployment, especially from the and I don't want to speak for another unit, but first div infantry unit. I think there's a book about him, Charlie Company. I think their first sergeant shot himself in front of his unit. Like it was crazy. That was a crazy year. That was a crazy deployment, and we were like their support and stuff. Like I think that was the first unit. And like I said, I don't want to speak out for another unit, but I think that was the first unit that refused to go out the wire. Like they straight up said, we got to mourn. We're losing too much too fast, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm almost certain they were the first unit to say no. We're gonna fucking chill because we're losing too much. But then again, I don't want to speak for them. So
I'm pretty sure that when we put this in social media, people will from those units will start coming out. It always happens, you know. So leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe first, though. But leave a comment and let us know if you're from that unit, or make sure that you give us the full story that Drew's talking about.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if something like that would have happened? What do you think in the Marine Corps if something like that would happen?
Somebody refused?
Yeah, I think the CEO will get fired straight up.
I don't know. To be honest, I couldn't even imagine. I mean,
like how would that conversation? He was a sergeant major. Mm-hmm. So let's say, for example, me as a gunny comes up to you and be like, "No, sergeant major, we ain't fucking going."
Yeah, depends on the situation, man. I've had Marines when I was a first sergeant in 3-6. We were in Marja in Southern Helmand in 2011, and I've had multiple situations like that. It wasn't like a whole unit. It wasn't even like a whole squad. But they'd be like, this Marine is like refusing to, go on this patrol. It gets kind of violent.
Is it true?
You're not just going to sit there and let a guy go, I'm not going. You're going to be like, get in the, because the issue is, and being in some of those environments, when Marines hear that, when service members hear that stuff, it spreads. Mm-hmm. People get real scared.
Yeah.
So you got to really it's the mentality. So
now, have you guys heard this before? That if you refuse to do something like that, the CO can actually choose to do instead of an NJP, he can choose to do a rifle squad and execute you. Yeah, have you guys ever heard that? You never heard that?
Yeah.
I think that's a scare tactic in the Marine Corps, because in the Marine Corps, we get told that if you do something like that, instead of NJP you, like let's say, for example, something that's falling asleep on post.
Yeah.
If you do something like that, you instead of you getting NJP'd, or what's it called in the Army?
Article 15, but it's
Article
the same
15
thing.
is the same thing.
They say Article 15, but it means NJP. It's the same for...
You can actually get blasted by a rifle squad.
Yeah, I think that for the greater good. Or so they say, but it's kind of like when you're if there's like a chemical attack or what they say, and you got your mask on and you want to make sure the area is clear, you choose the weakest person in your squad to take his mask off.
Oh damn!
You guys don't do that? You've heard of that too? Yeah.
Okay,
you choose your least performing soldier. You disarm him of his weapons, and then you make him take his mask off to make sure.
Oh yeah, to find out that it's actually.
So you don't want to be. You don't have to be the fastest, but you don't want to be the slowest.
Yeah. Hey, don't underperform is the message.
Yeah. Okay, listen.
Yeah. Hey, so all the NBC military folk out there, we need the corroboration on that type of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So NBC, make sure that you guys. NBC stands for nuclear, biological, and chemical. Okay. So if you guys are out there, make sure that you guys let us know if that's something that you guys teach out there.
So you talked about fear, suicide. Mm-hmm. What was the mentality how did all this stuff kind of build up? Before you got there, were you guys scared? What was going on?
We weren't scared. It was my first deployment. I was more curious than anything. You know what I'm saying? We didn't receive we were in 5 versus Maya. That place got motored 16 times a day, and it got to the point where it was more safer out the wire than it was in the wire. But we switched out every 4 months to a new base. So I was in 5 versus Maya the first 3-4 months. Then we went to 5 Shield, which was a little outpost, but more for contractors. It was good. We were living good there.
Really?
And then they sent us out. They split us up. I spent some time in Cop Callahan, which was like a blown out mall in the middle of, I don't remember where in Baghdad. But then after that, they sent us to Old Mod, the old Ministry of Defense. And we stayed there the rest of the time. until we came back home.
What was that like? What were these structures like? Were they hardened?
Yeah. Oh, Cobb Callahan was tough because we didn't even have toilets there. Like we were pissing inside of these morning logs we call. We didn't have showers. We would go to buy up to get to shower or get any necessities that we needed and stuff like that. But that was hard living because we were in the middle of everything, you know, and it was exposed. We didn't have T-walls to keep us protected. It was a mall, like 4 or 5 floors or something like that.
That's freaking insane.
So they would come by all the time. Yeah. They would come by all the time to bomb. There was one dude who came around in a pickup truck. He had the back of his truck just filled with rockets. And one morning came by, boom, came out the truck, lit everything, sent it to the building. Right next to us, too. Just driving right next to us. And but when he sent the rockets out, his truck flipped. And I think it killed him. I don't know if I remember that correctly, but I think it killed him because it was just too much. Too many. It was like 16 rockets he shot off the back of his truck. And I think it killed him. Might have not. I don't remember that. But that was probably the scariest moment right there because there was shrapnel going in through the building and it was hitting everyone. Damn. So it was like you hear all that metal just flying, whizzing on through and stuff like that. And you don't know if it's going to come at you. And everybody's exposed because everything on the inside is wood. So
damn. So obviously you have
JT from Article 15 was there. You know Article 15, the Article 15 boys, Matt Best and all them?
No.
I think I've heard
Jared
that.
Taylor.
Yeah, I think I've heard that name before, but I can't put the face to the name.
Yeah.
If you guys know who he is, I'm sure you guys do. Tag him in the comments.
I didn't know he was there. Like I didn't know him when I was there, but apparently when I spoke to him, he was there around the same time I was there. He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
So obviously, just from that deployment alone, you had a shit ton of combat experience.
Yeah.
And then how long were you in the Army total?
Including my reserve time?
Yeah.
Like 7 years.
7 years. Okay. So within those 7 years, obviously,
I was 5 active.
You were 5 active, and then
1 in the reserves in the beginning. And
do you feel bad like telling people you're a reservist? You feel like you pull back a little bit, like ugh.
No, not really.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, he got all the experiences that he needed to get out of his active duty service.
Yeah.
So you got out early 2000. In like what, 2010, 2011?
No, 2011, early 2011 I got
2011. What made you get out of the Army?
I didn't want to get out. I wanted to stay in, which is the crazy part. I wanted to stay in. When I was in Afghanistan, I went to go see a recruiter from the 101st because I went as a YS tasker. I kind of went by myself to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Came down on the unit was asking somebody.
Yeah.
And there was an NCO who had just bought a house, is having a baby, and I was just like, shit, I ain't got nothing going on. I'll go. I'll take your spot.
Yeah, so it's like an augment position.
Yeah. So I went out there, and that was an easy deployment. And by the end of it, I wanted to re-enlist because I knew I was in my window. And I figured, re-enlistment deployment, bonus money, baby. I'm down.
Tax free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the dude wasn't offering nothing. I told him, listen, you know what? I don't even care about the bonus. I don't care where you send me. Just put airborne and air assault in my training packet. Just guarantee me those 2 things. You can send me.
What's the difference? Airborne, air assault?
I just wanted to be tabbed out. It was just an ego thing.
What's air assault though?
Air assault is helicopters.
Okay.
Airborne airplanes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like
you guys get
Yeah.
Okay.
I get this a lot. I got a lot of hate on the one clip I did where I said like 101st is the real, like, because there's 82nd and the 101st.
Yeah.
So like
100%.
which one's better?
I mean, 101st is always gonna have that history.
So you think 101st?
I mean,
not that I'm saying it's better. Hold up now.
He tried.
Because they came for me.
He tried to sneak that one in there. He tried to sneak that one in there.
For Justin's sake, because my boy Justin, he's 101st. He's Rakasan. So for Justin's sake, I'm gonna stick with my boys. 101st.
101st.
Okay, 101st.
There you go.
You guys heard it.
Hey, shout out to the 101st Airborne. Let's go. Shout out to them.
I gotta do a reaction because I gotta show you guys this video. This guy, literally Army guy, he's trying to say that the screaming, is that what it is? A screaming eagle?
Screaming eagles, yeah.
Is more like recognizable than the Marine Corps' Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. And I'm just like,
Probably it.
Stop it.
No lie.
stop.
Listen. Okay.
Alberto.
Time out.
Yeah.
Let's look at the facts.
Yeah.
Let's look at the facts.
There's more movies. There's more movies.
There is not. What are you nuts?
There is more movies on them.
It's not only more movies, but you got to think about per capita how many people have been in the 101st and how many people. Have been
My
in
heart
the
is
Marine
broken,
Corps.
family. My heart is broken. Okay.
No. I'm just saying.
Albert has broke my heart.
I'm just saying.
He broke my heart.
It's probably like the Army's huge. The Army's what, like 3 times.
I don't
the
give
Marine
a
Corps?
damn, Army. You Army dogs come for me. I don't give a damn.
All right. So anyways, right? So whenever you decided to be like, hey, I'm here on deployment, I want to re-enlist, he said, nah.
He wasn't giving me nothing.
Yeah.
So you just decided to get out.
I was like, fuck it, I'm getting out. And by that time, the Army wasn't letting prior service back in. So when I got out, I started getting the itch. I was like,
You want to come back?
Yeah, I wanted to come back. And they were just like, nope.
What was that transition like though when you got out? And it was, was it good, bad, hard? Just
I was bored.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with myself. College isn't for me. I'm just not a college dude. I'm just not somebody. Homework and essays and all that's not me. I have a hard time concentrating and shit like that. So I tried to do that for a little bit. It wasn't working. I did find myself different around my family. Like I did have my depression and this antisocial demeanor about me. And I was before the military, I was somebody who was very sociable with people. I go to the park, play with anybody, just hang out with people. And
that sounded weird.
Pause. Hold on. Pause. Pause. I hang out with anybody.
Hey,
For the right amount.
Hey.
For the right amount.
Hold up. Somebody got triggered out there, fam. He's a friendly guy.
He's a friendly guy, okay?
Easy for the right price, though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, so
You're a people person.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll edit that out. Okay, Park, playing with kids, go.
Wow. Wow, dude.
How do you know? How do you know?
Yes.
Oh my God. No, but for real. So you find yourself, in this position to where you see that you used to be a sociable person. Now you transition out in 2011, and you're like, man, there's something not right. Yeah. So what helped you actually getting back to, it's like, hold on a second, I'm not the same person. What did you used to do to find yourself?
I came to the understanding it's not who I want to be. That was pretty much it. I caught myself at a moment where I even got at my mom. It was just like, yo, back the fuck off. And I was just, I've never spoken to my mom like that.
She came with the chancla like...
No, not even that. She would. 100% would.
Accurate, too.
But the energy was so big for her that she didn't know how to, like...
She was like, who are you?
Yeah, exactly. She looked at me like, okay, there's a problem.
Where's my son?
Yeah, pretty much. And so I went to take a walk, and I kind of put everything together, and I was just like, that's not who I want to be. That's not who I am. I don't give a fuck what I went through. Something needs to change here. So
that was a moment right there.
Yeah, that was a big moment. And so for me, I just worked really hard that whenever I go through my mood swings and stuff like that, I tend to try to keep to myself and just stay isolated in my room and just like, I don't want to affect nobody for that with my own issues. I don't want people to carry my baggage.
Got you. Yeah. Now, while you were in the Army, were you like this guy that, because obviously now you're a comedian, were you also as funny and hilarious as you were in the Army? Like when you were in the Army?
I think so. I hope I was.
Okay. Yeah, because essentially, you started this whole, a combat veteran and social media funny stuff in 2015. So it was already a couple of years after you transition out. What made you what was the first, actually I got to ask this. What was the very first social media platform that you used in order for you to start spreading your... Facebook.
Hell yeah, you're a face-turbator.
Facebook, yeah.
Okay, so it was Facebook. And then, did you ever use Vines and stuff?
Wow, you went old school.
No.
No, man. So you started with Facebook, and I remember, man, it was you and this guy, Joshua Thomas. You two were like the very first ones that I saw. He's the guy that goes like, oh, pride, live her. You ever seen that guy?
Yusha Thomas.
Joshua, yeah, Joshua Tom. Sorry,
Everybody always getting his name wrong. I love it.
Joshua, yeah. So it's Joshua, right?
Yusha.
Yusha, okay,
Yeah.
Joshua Thomas.
Yeah.
So you two were like the very first two that I saw in social media. Anything that had to do with like laughter in the military, you guys were the first two. What made you start that? What made you start those videos?
I was just trying to make my friends laugh. Like I always tell people this: people who want to create a footprint on social media, start with your friends. That's your audience right there. You start with your friends, and you create something that your friends are going to tell their friends, and that's how you want to strategize. And that's what I did.
That's a good piece of advice. I hope y'all took note of that. That's gold.
Yeah. And if you look at that first video, I'm not acting as anything. I'm nervous. That's me nervous. Like if you see me, this is me like shitting my pants. One. And I'm just like, I don't know how this is gonna work out. But for some reason, people thought I was joking. I was being a goof with it. And I was just like, nah, that's me. I was nervous as fuck here. But people took that awkward position as something that was funny. And I just took it was like a 10 types, right? And I took 10 things that me and all my friends, this is where I strategized, where me and all my friends have in common. And I just ranked it. And because I knew that they're going to see themselves in it. Yeah. And with that, I knew if I posted it, I kind of had my fingers crossed that they're probably going to share this. More than likely, they're going to share with this because they're going to be able to connect with this. Because who knows your friends better than you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. What's going on, guys? So definitely come out to my shows. I'll be in San Diego, February 3rd, Arizona, Chandler, February 4th. And I also have another show right next to Fort Polk or Fort Johnson, whatever you want to call this installation. I'll be nearby February 17th. So go to jokesbydrew.com. You'll see a thing schedule. Click on that schedule and you'll be able to see. Maybe I'm in your city. I'm currently negotiating Colorado. I'm negotiating more Texas City. I'm negotiating Nashville, Tennessee. I'll be out there soon. I'm a one-man band, so it's going to take time for me to get to your city, but I'll be there. So definitely stay tuned. There is a booking thing there you can click on to sign up to my email list. You can do that too if you want to stay in the loop. Appreciate you guys.
A combat veteran. Where do you got that name from? What was the idea behind that name?
It was no idea. In all honesty, I didn't want to be the face of that. It was just something that I just typed in. It was just like a combat veteran, and I'll figure something out later. I just wanted to name something.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that got super huge.
And I was gonna change it when I started seeing the name start. I was gonna change. I was like, hold up. And I was with a girl at the time, and she was like, if you change it, you're gonna ruin everything.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just put my name, Drew Hernandez. And no, if you change it, you're gonna ruin everything.
It's true.
I stuck with it. I maybe not. I don't think so. I want to say that the content isn't popular because of a name. I think the content is popular because of a creator and the ideas behind that. But I almost changed it because I just did not want to be that. I didn't want to be somebody who walks in, hey, a combat vet. I hate hearing that. That's cringe. But it is what it is. Yeah. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. I'm a very private guy in public. Like I'm not the type to, you see it on the internet and that's fine. But in public, I barely talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you started your videos back in New York. And then now, obviously, we're sitting here in California.
Yeah.
How was that? What made you do that change from, man, I'm over here in New York. I'm fairly successful and doing this in New York. What made you come over here to California?
Other than the weather.
Yeah. Well, I didn't come from New York here. I went to Texas first.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I was in New York, I just needed more resources. And at that point, I was already popular, and I knew I'd be able to get in San Antonio if I needed resources. So I moved out to San Antonio for those resources. And then I decided to move out here just because I was growing. I was growing artistically, creatively. My writing was growing. I wanted to do more. I just didn't want to be here. I wanted to learn production. I wanted to learn filming. I wanted to learn acting and stuff like that. And I knew this is Fort Bragg right here. If you want to try to learn acting, you want to learn the business, this is where you got to be. Yeah. The business is everywhere fundamentally, but if you really want to get the experience that everybody's in their grind, Los Angeles is where it's at.
How would you compare you as a content creator with comedy and you being a stand-up comedian? Because I feel there's like two completely different worlds.
Yeah, I see that too. I see that with like Mandatory Fun Day. Some of those guys that are funny. He's fun. They're funny no matter what.
Yeah.
But there's a difference.
But there is a huge difference. Like, how would you describe that difference, you that you're doing it?
I'm still learning stand-up. I can't speak to stand-up at a place of anything because I just started. Like, I had my first show in July, and I've been lucky to be as successful as I've been when it comes to stand-up. And it's not to say that I don't have my bad sets. Like, I just did a show last week. It was okay. I didn't kill the room. But it's a give or take, and it's a learning experience. I'm still building my catalog of jokes, you know. So when I'm telling these jokes, oftentimes I try to go on stage with new material to test out to see what the weather looks like when it comes to these materials. So sometimes
And if it doesn't land, you just
exactly. I'll either
that's gotta be so hard, man.
It's tough. It's tough, but it saved my life. It did.
How so?
Stand up saved my life. I was lost. And not last year, but the year before, like the tail end, I was just lost. I didn't know what to do. Social media, and that's not to say social media dictates if I want to live or die, but there's just no excitement around it anymore. I mean, I've lost that excitement years ago, really. But like just at the end of 2022 is when I found myself at a really dark place. Like, I got nothing else going on right now. The grind was a little too tough on me.
Really?
As far as my mental health went, I wasn't inspired to do anything. Like, I'm a writer. I love writing, but I wasn't inspired for it anymore. And I was just like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And so I got on my bike. I bought a bike for the specific reason of killing myself on it. I was like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna go on
a
this
motorcycle.
bike. Yeah. Because it's gonna be quick. It's gonna be adrenaline, and it's gonna be
like
high.
a Schwinn.
Yeah. Who the fuck would buy Schwinn?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Justin would.
Justin.
But boy would.
So you bought a bike, and the whole intent was to take your own life.
Yeah. And just one day I was writing, and I swear to God, the hand of God, it was the second time God spoke to me. I was writing, and I lost in my thoughts, just writing, and I asked, I was like, I don't know what to do with myself anymore. Like, and I look up, and literally I was right across the street from the Laugh Factory, and something inside of me said, that's what you need to do next. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm funny at stand-up. Like, that's a whole different ball game, like you mentioned.
Exactly.
And it just like this feeling, this internal feeling, like that's the direction, that's the next move right there. And nervous doing it. Didn't know if I'd be funny. Planned out the Texas tour in July, and people already bought tickets, so there's no turning back from there on out. And I just committed to it, and by the grace of God, it's worked in my favor, and it's the one thing that I say today that just keeps me going.
Wow.
Was there ever a moment when that feeling hit you, and you looked up and you saw the Laugh Factory, where you thought to yourself, like, no, I'm not gonna do this, like, no.
No.
It was just
it was there was so much assurance around what I was feeling. Like, I didn't know if I was gonna be funny, but I didn't say no to it because I knew I heard the voice of God. Like, I felt that. Like, you just don't feel that every day. I felt it that day.
That's crazy. And would you say that you have a lot of pressure whenever it comes to, because obviously when people see you, let's say we weren't be doing the podcast, and I just see you on the street, I'm like, I know that guy. He's the funny guy from Facebook and Instagram or whatever, right? They immediately associate you with happiness. But based on what you're saying, you not always feel like that, right?
No.
That's gotta be tough. Like, when people see you, they go with this happy reaction, and then do you match their energy even though you might not be feeling it? Like, how is that experience for you?
No, not always. Not always. There's some people that have spotted me. If I'm not having a good day, we're not playing that game. I would leave.
Why?
them
What do
hanging.
they say to you? Say something funny.
No,
like,
it's not
whoa.
even that. It's just like I'm in my antisocial mood where it's just like I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to talk or something like that. And I'll just keep walking. Like somebody, hey, aren't you that guy? I'm like, no, I'm not. And I'll just
I'm not that guy.
I just keep going. Keep going. But oftentimes, more often than anything, it's very rare that I do that. But most of the time, yeah, I'll entertain it.
Yeah, because
I don't want anybody to have a bad experience with me. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Sure.
But we also gotta normalize that though, because you know, like, we are regular ass freaking people. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, and specifically, we have experiences that not all your regular people have. Like what you just shared with us, right? And that shit sticks with you in your brain. And we have to normalize that if you see somebody on the street and that person ain't having it, like it's okay to give him some space. And that doesn't necessarily makes them a bad person. That just makes them a person. Like, and I appreciate you sharing that, man, because it's super real. It's like, that's who you are, and I can respect that instead of you being somebody that's not really it. So I definitely appreciate, man, like you coming out here and being like super real with the conversation that we actually having.
Yeah.
Now, you were in Texas. I saw that you had your first show in Texas. They were sold out. Correct. Yeah. So how was your first experience? You're about to go on stage. All of a sudden, the lights are on you. You're about to tell your first joke to the world. How was that? How was that experience? What was going through your mind?
I did not know them fucking jokes were gonna land. I did not know at all. I wasn't doing open mics like that. I did one open mic and I absolutely bombed. It was no laughs. I triggered some of the comics in the room. They went up, roasted me.
You triggered some of the other.
Damn, that would be hard criticism.
They were liberal comics. They were just like, there's just jokes you don't say around liberals.
Can we get a?
Yeah, it was a rape joke.
Oh man, oh dude, Jesus Christ!
It was. I feel like it wasn't even bad. I went on stage. I was like, three things I learned in the military: you never give up, you never stop trying, even if she says no.
Oh my God.
That was it though. That was it.
Funny to me.
I didn't think it was that bad, right? And just like all I saw was like everybody in the room go, oh,
Damn.
and the next comic was a female. She went up, she was like, really, Drew, a fucking rape joke? And she tried to roast me, but it was personal. Therefore, it wasn't funny just because it was so personal to her. She was just being really condescending and not even like in a clever way, because I can appreciate a good roast. Yeah. But it was just like, you took this shit. It's not even funny. But I didn't know how to react. So I'm sitting there, because you got to sit there throughout the whole show. So I'm sitting there with this stupid ass look on my face like,
oh man,
just watching her. Internally, I am melting. I am in chaos internally. I just want to get up and fucking run, because this is my first time experiencing feedback for the shit I wrote. And at that time, I didn't know.
How many jokes were there like that just a small handful? Bro. You know,
like, I'm a writer. I wrote like 20 pages of shit, and I was just like, I just have 5 minutes to do what I do, and I just picked it apart and just put 5 minutes together, but it's me finding my voice. Like, what's gonna be my angle? You got to have an angle. Sure. If you're gonna do stand up, you got to have an angle. What's gonna be your voice, and what are the jokes you're gonna tell?
Well, I feel the way that I feel is that it's really gonna depend on your audience. I guess that if I were to look at this, I guess that would be the hardest thing for me, because obviously we relate a lot to veterans. Like, as you can see, I'm a veteran, right? And again, by no means when I laughed at that, I was saying like, oh man, that's funny. You know, it's not. But at the same time, as a comedian, like, you can, if that joke would have come from me, it would have sounded wrong. But you, as a professional freaking comedian, like,
comedians got to be able to.
We shouldn't be able to censor comedians. Like, I hate when people say, "Oh, we're gonna cancel this person because of this joke."
Comedians should be able to take anything, dude. I'm all about First Amendment freedom of speech, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you got, and we're messing it up. For comedians.
I guess the hardest part would be is like, you're not always going to have a bunch of veterans inside of that room. Like you said, you just had your first experience was just a bunch of freaking liberals. So what did you say? Would you say that's the hardest part, or what is the hardest part, you coming from a military background?
Now that I've had more experience to write, more experience to feel the stage, feel the audience, like I said, I'm still learning. I'm a little bit more directional when I tell my jokes. Like, when I was in New York, I didn't have a single military joke. It was because I knew what my crowd was going to be.
Sure.
If I'm around a bunch of veterans, I'll tell military jokes. I'll tell my experience in the military, my not so honorable experience in the military of using my position as a veteran to get out of a speeding ticket, to get out of court dates and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So
like why does Sergeant Major not want us walking on the grass, but we PT on the grass?
Exactly, right?
It makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. But I try to go down that kind of.
You can steal that
view.
one if you want to put that one in there, and then just be like, "What's up, Barry? How's it going?"
I'll try.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Barry, you so funny and stuff, Barry.
There was actually somebody that called me out. He said that I stole a joke from a comedian, and it was my joke about World War II veterans, where I say, World War, they were very romantic. The way they wrote letters to their wives, like, it's been 30 degrees, my horses have died from the blistering breeze, and I long your warm touch, versus veterans today who FaceTime their wife like, who the fuck is Julio? Huh? Oh, you think I didn't see through the ring camera who Julio was? Oh, he's the plumber. He's there to lay the pipe work. Okay, yeah, let me speak to, that. And I guess there was a comedian who didn't say that. He kind of, it was the structure that was similar, where he talks about Vietnam veterans and versus today. And it was like completely different. It just had like a similar structure.
People always
Somebody
trying to
was
get
just
you
like,
on
oh, you're stealing jokes. It's just like, bitch, different joke.
Yeah,
no.
that's gotta be, man. And specifically, let me ask you this on camera. I already asked you, but I'm guessing you saw that Cat Williams interview. I mean, who really hasn't?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that interview?
When it comes to the streets, are always gonna win. Then that's what Cat Williams represents. He represents the streets. Not a single comedian has disproven anything he said.
I was going to say, it's been silent.
Yeah, they complained about it, but they've never said, oh, he's lying. No, that didn't happen. They just saying, well, it didn't happen quite like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I keep getting
very
one in
different.
my feed where he's like, no. Only one of us is wearing $12 worth of jewelry.
Yeah, with the
Oh,
interview. There was what I loved about it, the results from that is that comedian openers that have opened for him have came out in his defense, where it's like, nah, he takes care of people. He gave me my first shot. You didn't see that shit when Kevin Hart got canceled. You didn't see his openers come out and be like, oh no, Kevin Hart's been there for me. You didn't see that. Unless I'm missing something. I didn't see anybody come to Kevin Hart's defense when the LGBTQ community was canceling him. Or Dave Chappelle. And I love Dave Chappelle, but you saw that with Cat Williams, where like people who are still trying to get their names out in the comic spoke out like, nah, he gave me $750 as my first pay doing stand-up. He told me I killed the room. Like, people were coming out in his defense. So there's got to be some kind of weight to what he's saying when he's saying that if people are coming out to defend him like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now, I didn't know until that interview, I didn't know that comedy was so, because essentially, like he said, you're gonna get kicked and you're gonna get roasted until I get tired of roasting you. It's like that in comedy. Like for example, what you were saying right now, you bombed your first, your joke, and then the female came out and she just started like going at it. Yeah. And there's no stopping and you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like me personally, I wouldn't be able to handle that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. How do you feel that is your best way of handling that?
I'm still learning, bro. So I just take it. I look at it as, trial by fire. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the military, where they make you roll around in the mud, and you got to do this shit. You got to go through that basic course. Yeah. It's gonna suck. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate your life. You're not gonna want to experience this shit again. But you're gonna go through it and you're gonna finish it.
I don't remember anybody that got roasted that sat there and took it. But I can remember seeing sets where people got roasted and they got offended.
Yeah.
And I remembered that, and I was like, it's comedy, dude.
Yeah. I think comedians are their sensitivity level is super fucking high. They can take the joke, but they can't always, they can dish it, but they can't always take it. I feel like comics are, if you didn't get his permission to roast him, he's gonna be a
little upset.
Yeah, he's gonna be a little upset about it. Because you gotta think, comics, we tell jokes because, we're unhappy at some capacity with art. If you look at Robin Williams, he was a sad clown. Yeah. Figuratively speaking, he made the room. He could make the room laugh, but internally, like, he was dealing with things. Yeah. I think comics, you know, they have an immense amount of suffrage that they've experienced, whether it's their upbringing, their childhood and stuff like that, that they're able to look at the world differently.
Yeah.
It's almost like I've heard people say, you know, like if I don't make a joke or laugh, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna break down.
You kind of feel good about making the room laugh.
Yeah.
You kind of feel good about yourself. And I think that's the part that's addicting for a lot of people, especially me. I've been making the room laugh for God knows how many years already.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm thinking, I'm trying to go back, and I feel like I see this hilarious guy on social media, and then now we're getting to meet the other side of it, of like, damn, like this guy bought a bike because he wanted to go out in the adrenaline, and then now, you know, where are you in that stage? You know, like, are you and I'm asking you as a person, it's like, are you good? Like, are you doing good now? You know,
I'm so used to it by now. It was harder when it was new. When my social media presence, my footprints was like everywhere and stuff, or back in the early days, it was harder. It was the hardest thing to bear because you don't know who's taking advantage of you. You don't know who's reaching out because they want something. Back then, I just wanted to make friends. You know, I wanted to be genuine with people, you know, because I'm pretty honest myself. You know, I'll keep it 100 with you, keep it 100 with anyone, whether you offended or not. You know, I'll try my best to never be disrespectful because that's not the impression I want to leave people. But at the same time, like, I don't hold back myself. I've never been that kind of guy to really hold back just because you're overly sensitive with shit.
Yeah.
You know, and just back then, like, I'm in this new space where my popularity is growing. I don't know people like that. Everyone's reaching out to me. I don't know who wants to be my friend, so I'm trying to make friends with everyone. And I've been taken advantage of. I've been lied to. I've noticed how my presence in certain businesses have turned those businesses into multi-million-dollar businesses, and you know,
Wow.
they just threw me away when they were done with me, type shit.
yeah, that's fucking.
And having to learn, and that's the business really in social media when you're an influencer, and just learning that where I didn't have nobody to really guide me, to really reach out to. I didn't have nobody. It got to a place where that even affected my mental health even worse, where it's like, I don't want to deal with this. And there were times where I took my separations, where I took my break, where it's like, I don't give a fuck about this shit. Now I need to get my head right first.
Can you give an example of one of the ways that you got taken care of early on?
That I got taken care of?
No, that you got taken advantage of. I apologize. That you can discuss. We don't want you to get sued now because you mentioned one of these places.
Businesses. I had a business. I'm not gonna put their name out.
Yeah.
I had a business that I worked with, and as soon as I got involved, they ended up signing another influencer to kind of copy what I'm doing. I was told by one of their employees, like, no, he wants exactly what you have. And I was like, well, what the fuck do I have? I'm just somebody that's trying to make fucking videos. Like, what the fuck do I have? And it was just the presence. And it got to the point where that business stopped promoting me. They kind of threw me away, and now I see videos where I don't give a fuck. Grunt style. Hello.
Hello.
I don't give a fuck. Grunt style. Now, don't get me wrong.
They've caught a lot of heat though, and I've seen some of it online.
Don't get me wrong. I reached out to them for my Fort Worth show where I was just like, you know, if you guys want to be sponsors, we're gonna open this door for you. But when they first signed me, I was like the golden boy. We're gonna promote you, this and that. I didn't really need it, but it's grunt style at the time. They were fucking booming.
Yeah.
And all I knew is I didn't want to sell shirts for them. I was like, I don't want to sell shirts. That's not what I do. I make content. Just wear the shirts. I was like, cool, I'll wear the shirts. Then they signed Adam Calhoun. Adam Calhoun was somebody that wanted the presence that I had because he didn't have it at that point. And one of their associates at Grunt Style goes, just letting you know right now, Adam wants what you have. And I was, you know, like I said, what the fuck do I have? I don't know what the fuck I have.
Yeah.
And all this time, like I was okay with it because I was just like, another veteran, I'm fine with it. The fuck I'm gonna be jealous about another veteran. As long as we're all making the veteran community laugh, happy with that. I'm cool with that. But then Adam Calhoun wasn't a veteran. And I think it caught everybody by surprise when he came out. I was like, oh no, I'm not. I never said I was a veteran. Never said I was a veteran. It's just like, but he was, bitch, you kind of indicated a little bit. You didn't have to say it, but your whole fucking energy was that. All right, cool. And once Adam signed on to them, Grunt Style completely stopped promoting me, completely dismissed me. I was just somebody wearing their shirts. And it's fine because I was getting paid for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine with it. But I was just a little heartbroken by it because it was just like, damn, you guys don't mention me anymore. You guys don't do nothing with me. I'm just somebody you're paying right now. I don't want to have this kind of relationship. So I broke the agreement that I had with them. I was like, listen, I'm going to go my own way. Started printing my own shirts.
And how did that experience help you to not do that, like a better contract? Because I'm guessing there was nothing in the contract there to protect you, right? So how did that experience that you had with that company helped you into getting or landing a better deal in another company?
I didn't seek out anybody else after that. I think the only people I worked with after was Vet TV. I didn't really seek out anybody. I'd never really sold any more shirts after that when it came to another business. There's one, American as Fuck. They were another clothing brand. Okay. They helped me out a lot. Okay. The CEO of that, and he didn't want nothing in exchange. Wow. And for that, forever in his debt. Whatever he needed from me, I'm always a phone call away. Whatever you need, I'm down. I'm here. And it just, I separated myself. I kept myself distant from everyone. Like, don't contact. I even disabled my DMs. I don't want to be reached. I don't want to be emailed. I don't want to be contacted. And at that time, I have gotten a manager who sought out sponsorships for me, like video games and stuff like that. Okay. So he go out and do that for me and just bring it to me, and we start promoting that, and we started making money that way. But as far as being in business with other veteran companies, is very, very, I don't always do it. It's very, very material, just because I don't want beef in my community. I don't want beef like that with people. So for me, it's kind of like, I don't want to be taken advantage of by my own tribe, because it's my tribe. Like, no, we're not going to do that. I don't want to have that in my heart. So I just distance myself. So
when you're an influencer, it's hard because, you know, kind of like you said, people are looking at you. You are a cash cow. Yeah. You have a market, you have a marketplace, and we want to use you for that. Yeah. That's the only reason, you know, that we're here. And that loyalty, I mean, that could be why, you know, even some, it affects people that message me all the time romantically. Yeah. Whether it's a guy or a girl, they're trying to get maybe a clothing brand off the ground. They're trying to get a fitness brand off the ground. They're trying to get their start here, there, somewhere. Yeah. Wow. You just became attractive. Yeah. Now we're making videos together, and then suddenly we're not in love anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that I want. That's something that I want to address, because that's something that I do, right? I like to give back to my community. I'm not directly involved in this whole, even though I am, because I do have this podcast and all that stuff. But essentially what we want this podcast to be is a platform for people to come over here and tell their stories, share their stories. And at the same time, us being able to, I usually wear like brands that are military owned or veteran owned or stuff like that. But I'm not talking about like no grunt style or anything like that. I'm talking about like people that are getting off the ground. Yeah. You know, and afford them the opportunity to actually come over here and talk about, you know, their experiences, how they're actually doing, and having a real conversation. So Drew, I definitely appreciate it. We're definitely going to be doing a part 2 to this podcast. So stay tuned, because we're going to continue the conversation in part 2. All right, Drew, where can people find out about you in social media?
Jokes by Drew, everything. That's the vanity URL. Just Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Jokes by Drew.
Okay, go follow Jokes by Drew. Bull, where can people find you at?
You guys know the vibes. Instagram at Bull5277, TikTok at Bull52772. Click the link in the bio, schedule a call. Call is free. The change will last you a lifetime.
You guys know where you guys can reach me out at. You guys can go ahead and subscribe, like, and share this video to get out to my more content. Make sure that you guys click on any of the videos that you guys are seeing right here because they will bring more value to your life. I promise. I'll see you guys in part 2. Let's go.